Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to go over 4 of the biggest mistakes that I see the average golfer make that keeps them from shooting the scores that they want to shoot, okay? Hey, we all want to shoot low scores. We all have an idea in our head of what kind of scores we think that we should be shooting. And yet, most of us don't achieve those thoughts. We don't get close to that goal. And there's a couple of reasons why. And today I want to share with you these 4 reasons that I see that if you can avoid these 4 big mistakes, if you can monitor these 4 big mistakes, if you keep these 4 big mistakes up in your head so that when you're out playing golf, you don't commit them, your scores are going to drop. And hey, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you shoot lower scores. So if you want to shoot some lower scores, subscribe to my channel. Now let's get started with mistake number 1. Mistake number 1 that I see is alignment, okay? And when I talk about alignment, I can talk about alignment in a couple of different ways. One, you aim the ball into the wrong places, okay? Majority of golfers always think they are going to hit a perfect shot when they stand up to the ball. And frankly, we don't. We rarely ever hit a perfect shot. So you are aiming with the idea that you are going to hit a perfect shot. So therefore, you're taking most of the time too big a risk. And you then don't hit the perfect shot, and you've put yourself into trouble, whether you've driven it into the woods or whether you've knocked it into a penalty area, whether you've just knocked it into the rough, a fairway bunker, whatever the case may be. You are aiming in the wrong place. You got to really be honest with yourself, know your tendencies, know your golf game, and know where the place that you should aim the ball. So let's start off with a little tip here off the tee box, okay? I've got 2 golf balls up here. This is our 15th hole, it's a par 5. You can see a little tight off the tee. It opens up out there a little bit, but trees down the left and right side. I see this mistake all the time right here. I get out on the golf course and I've got somebody that's a little bit of a fader of the ball, maybe to a slice. And they always come over here and they tee up on the left-hand side of the tee box. And thinking that that's going to allow their fade and or slice to fit into the fairway. Well, that's the wrong place to tee up. If you're a fader or a slicer of the golf ball, you need to be over here as far right as you can possibly be. Because what this gives me the ability to do is now aim the ball down the left-hand side of the fairway, allowing my right-hand curve, for us right-handed golfers, allowing my ball to curve to the right. It makes my fairway bigger, okay? Vice versa. If you're a guy or a person that hits a draw to a hook, you need to tee off on the left-hand side of the fairway, okay? You need to aim down the left-hand side of the tee box. You need to aim down the right-hand side of the fairway to allow your ball to curve back into the fairway. This makes your fairway bigger, gives you a much better chance of hitting that ball in the fairway. Now, if you ever get up to a hole where you really feel like you're trying to have to fit the ball into a certain spot, man, take a golf club that's going to leave you short. Take a golf club that's going to give you the biggest, widest, largest landing area that you can have, and just keep putting that ball in that landing area. You are going to play so much better from the fairway. Let's go talk about aiming the ball into a green. Well, here we are down at the green, okay? Par 5. Typically, par 5 greens aren't very big. And the greens here at Azalea City just aren't big in general. So, but this whole principle that I'm going to talk about holds true for pretty much any golf course. When you're aiming into the green, y'all need to become much more aware of shot dispersion, okay? What is shot dispersion? Shot dispersion is how far right and how far left we tend to miss our target. So we have a precise target that we are aiming to, and when we hit our average golf shots, there is going to be a distance to the right and a distance to the left that our golf balls are going to fall, okay? Just an example here to put things into perspective. Tour players, the best in the world, from 100 yards, they are all going to have a wedge in their hand of some kind, and it's going to be a sand wedge. It's not going to be a pitching wedge. We all think that they have a wedge in their hand and they hit it 5 feet every single time. A tour player's shot dispersion from 100 yards is 20 feet to the right and 20 feet to the left. They also have a dispersion pattern that is that is long and short. That would be more narrow than the width, but we have to think of that as well. So I'm going to leave the camera here and I'm going to come up onto this green and I want to show you the dispersion playing into this green. Okay, so I am up here on the green and we've got a flag that is over here to the right, okay? So this is a par 5. You guys are going to be hitting your your third shot in there from 100 yards and in. Maybe if you're one of the longer hitters, you could be between 100 and 150 yards. Now remember, a tour player from 100 yards, 20 feet right, 20 feet left. So let me show you. From this flag to the right edge of the green, I just stepped it off, is exactly 21 feet. So 20 feet. So this is as far right on this green that this pin is that a tour player should be aiming at it. If the pin was over here, now I am more like 15 feet to 13 feet from the edge of the green. A tour player is going to hit a really good wedge. They're going to miss half their balls over here to the right. Some of them are going to end up off the green, off that slope, short-sided, going to be a difficult up and down. So let's put this into the context of you average golfers. If a tour player is 20 feet, what's your dispersion pattern from 100 yards? If a tour player is 20 feet, what's yours? 30 feet, 35 feet, 40 feet? And think about as you go farther back into the fairway, you get farther away, that dispersion is going to grow. So from that pin right there to the right edge of the green was in the range of 55 feet. So if you are the average golfer, you're going to have a dispersion pattern that's, just trust me, it's going to be at least 30 feet left and 30 feet right. And so you have to make that dispersion pattern fit in this green. So the reality is, the only place that you can aim is right here in the middle of the green. I don't care where the pin is on this green. I don't care where you are in the fairway. You need to be aiming at the middle of the green, because your short game is typically not good enough to save you all the time. And if you are missing in the wrong place around the green, you're just not going to get up and down. So check your ego back in your car or wherever it is in the parking lot when you get to the golf course, and play smart and learn to aim. Majority of you should just be aiming into the middle of the greens. Unless you've got a golf course that's got big, huge greens, then you can segment things. For all you golfers that are here in Mobile and you're playing Azalea City, do yourselves a favor, aim to the middle of the green. Let's go talk about mistake number 2. The second biggest mistake that I see golfers make is they never hit enough golf club into the green. I take my students on the golf course all the time, okay? And I put them in situations where we just play holes. And I'll get out there and they've got an approach shot to the green, and I'm just going to use this number for the sake of the video. They've got 150 yards into a par 4. And I look over at them and I say, hey, what club are you hitting? And they typically say, well, 7-iron. And I always ask them why. And they say, well, because I hit my 7-iron 150 yards. And I've never seen them hit a 7-iron 150 yards. You know, I see them maybe hit a 7-iron that goes 140 sometimes, but they think they can hit their 7-iron 150 yards. And you ask them the question, and they will give this answer, and I've used this in videos before. They say, yeah, but this one time I was on the golf course, and I hit this 7-iron, and it went 150 yards, and I hit it close to the hole. So they're basing all their decisions off of this one time. Just like with shot dispersion back there, you have to really, really understand the distance that you actually hit your irons and understand that you are going to hit more average shots on the golf course than good ones and also bad ones. So you've got to figure out where that average shot goes. You also have to figure out where that bad shot goes, because you have to plan for that one as well. You can't make decisions off of the best shots that you can hit, because again, they come few and far between. Let me give you a quote from, in my opinion, the greatest golfer of all time, Jack Nicklaus. Jack Nicklaus said, "When I was at my best, I would hit 2 or 3 really good shots around." So here is a guy that, in my opinion, is the greatest golfer of all time. And he is telling you that 2 to 3 shots in a round of golf were going to be really good. Now think about the way that you plan your way around a golf course when you are making decisions on what shots you are going to hit. Think about the club that you pull off the tee. Think about the shot that you're hitting into the fairway. Into the green. Think about the decisions that you are making, and are you making those decisions based on what you can do at your best? Because hey, our brain is out there trying, and our brain thinks we're trying to hit our best shot. But are you making your decision off of that? Or are you saying, hey, where's my average shot go? Because again, statistics prove you are going to hit more average shots than you are good ones or bad ones. So become more realistic in your club choices. Become more realistic in how far you hit the golf ball. And if you really want to know how far you hit the golf ball, go find yourself a golf pro that's got a good launch monitor. Don't go to somebody who's got one of those bad ones. Find somebody that's got a legitimate launch monitor that can really accurately tell you how far you're carrying the ball. And then when you get finished, it kind of gives you a little report, and you'll figure out your shot dispersion, you'll figure out your distances, and make decisions based on those numbers. All right, let's go to number 3. Biggest mistake, number 3. So the third biggest mistake that I see golfers make when they are playing golf is they just don't have control over the length and speed of their pitch shot motion. They tend to have a pitch shot motion that's too long in the backswing. And as soon as that backswing goes too long, that subconscious part of your brain says, uh-oh, this isn't going to be good. And then you start to slow down. So what I mean is, you stand here and I've got a golf shot that I'm gonna fly 30 feet, 40 feet, whatever that number is. My golf swing has to match that distance. It also has to be calibrated according to what club I'm using. I brought 2 clubs out here. I've got a sand wedge and I've got a pitching wedge. So the sand wedge swing is going to be bigger than the pitching wedge, okay? So I've got to make a swing that's the right size. I love for my golfers to have a very balanced pitch stroke, pitching motion, meaning backswing and forward swing about the same size. You can err a little bit with the forward swing being a little bit longer, but let's really, really try and get that golf swing balanced. Now, once I figure out the length that my swing needs to be, I got to have the right speed as well. And typically, folks, in a pitch shot, our speed needs to be slow. Our arms need to be relaxed. There has to be a rhythm to our stroke. So let's see if I can pull this shot off. Got my sand wedge, as I said. Got to fly it up there a little bit. Oh, almost one hopped in. Tiny bit too long. But I'm going to use the excuse, that's the first swing I've made this morning. Now, let me make the same stroke, or hit the same shot or hit a pitch shot from the same place is what I'm really trying to say, with a pitching wedge. Now, can I make the same size swing with the pitching wedge that I just made with that sand wedge? The answer is no, because the ball will go too far. This pitching wedge is going to roll farther, okay? It's not going to get as high up in the air. So I have to adjust. It's a smaller swing. I still want rhythm. And you can see that that ball came off a lot lower, okay? And let's go up there and let's go look at the results. All right, so I'm gonna call for my first 2 shots of the day. First 2 times I attempted to hit a golf ball, those were successful. They were both about 10 feet past the hole. Let me give you one last bit of advice when we're talking about this pitch shot and the size of your swing. The vast majority of you would do yourself a big, big favor to learn to make a pitch shot swing that's the smallest you can possibly make it and keep the ball as low to the ground as you can possibly make it. Your chance of error gets greatly reduced when you keep the ball low and when you have a smaller swing. Just think about it. If I'm gonna make a swing that's this big compared to a swing that's this big, which swing has a better chance of having a miss hit? It's going to be the big swing. And just like in the video series that I just did, Don't Just Play Golf, Be a Golfer, Gary Christian and I were talking about, it's just like if we were going to throw the ball up there to the hole, we're going to roll it because we know that's going to get us closest to the hole. So do yourselves a favor, learn how to make a swing that's the right size. I want that swing to be balanced. Get the speed under control of that swing. Take as much club as you can possibly take, which allows you to take the smallest swing possible, keeping the ball on the ground, keeping the ball as close to the ground as possible. You're going to get the ball closer to the hole. You're going to get up and down more. You're going to avoid having disastrous pitch shots. You're going to score better. Let's go talk about the last mistake that I see golfers make. Well, the 4th biggest mistake that I see golfers make, which prevents them from shooting the types of scores they want to shoot, is they just don't have control of the distance of their first putt. They leave putts too short or they hit putts too long. And again, let's just put things into perspective here. The average golfer from 5 feet away from the hole is only going to make 50% of his putts. So if you're out there on your first putt and you can't get the ball much closer to the hole than 5 feet, you're going to 3-putt half the time. And what do 3-putts do to our score? Up and up it goes. So what is a distance that we should be rolling that ball up around the hole? I always say inside 2 feet. You hear the old story. You know, you got to put it within a 3-foot circle up there. Hey, you need to be getting it closer than that. Get that ball 18 inches from the hole. Get that ball a foot from the hole. Shoot, roll the ball the right speed. Now, why do I see people, they can't control the distance? What's the biggest contributing factor? Stroke length, just kind of what we talked about in the chipping. Same problem in putting. Their stroke never matches up the distance that they're trying to hit the ball. But then there's one other contributing factor, and I've talked about this one in almost every putting video I've ever done. They don't have anything in their pre-shot routine that gets them ready to hit the ball the proper speed. You know, they're going to go through the process, maybe lining the ball up, getting a good read, and then they get up to the ball and they're looking down here and they make some practice swings. Then they get into the ball, they get set up and they hit their putt. Well, what have they done to prepare themselves for a feeling of how hard they should hit the ball? Nothing. You got to do something while you're looking at the hole. I like practice swings while you're looking at the hole. You can make them from all different places. You can stand back behind the ball. You'll see tour players do this a lot. Looking at that hole, making a couple strokes, getting a feel. Okay, I'm using my eyes to tell my brain how far away I am. Then I'm using my instincts to make the stroke the right size. I personally get beside the golf ball. I turn my head so I am looking at the target. This is where I make my practice swings. You'll see some people kind of get up in here. They won't use their putter. They just take an arm. Watch the tour. There's some variation of this that they're all doing. Getting a feel for how hard they need to hit that putt, okay? Start building something in your pre-shot routine that's going to allow you to get a feel of how hard you need to hit that putt when you stand up there to hit it. And if you can roll the ball, that was the first putt of the day, not bad. And if you can learn to roll the ball the right distance, you're going to eliminate 3 putts. When you eliminate 3 putts, your score goes this way, not that way. Well, I want to thank y'all very much for coming in and watching this video. I hope you take my advice. I hope you learn to aim better, okay? Learn to aim in the proper place, whether it's off the tee or into the green. I hope you really figure out exactly how far you hit irons on your average shots and you start making better decisions on the golf course. I really hope that you learn to get a nice balanced pitch shot motion and learn to use which club. I've got a video or 2 back in my library talking about that specific topic. If you want more information there, go find those videos. Would be great for you to do. And then lastly, learn to control the distance of that first putt. I really hope you do these things, because if you do, I promise you your score is going to go down, and it may go down significantly. You could see a 5, 6 to 10 stroke difference off of your score if you follow those 4 principles and avoid making those 4 critical mistakes. And again, if you want to play better golf, if that's your goal, come to my channel, watch my videos, subscribe, okay? Hit that notification bell so you know when I am putting out information, because everything on this channel is designed to help you play better golf. And there's a few other little things. There's a couple of product reviews and some travel information, and that's the fun part of it for me. More the travel, the fun part. But if you want to learn to play golf, come on, join me. Thanks so much, folks, and I will see y'all in the next video.